I always hate Monday mornings. It's probably the hardest live to do during the week because you lack a bit of energy yourself. With it being the first day of the working week, Monday must be the most depressing day of the week, mustn't it? The only thing I can say is, in some cases, people might not work Mondays. In other cases, you're one day closer to the weekend by the time you get Monday out of the way. Okay, weather report this morning. Chilly. So my throat is terrible this morning, guys. I'm so sorry. No wind, no rain, but just a bit chilly, so not too bad. We will survive. What's everybody's plans today? Is it a work day, leisure day, nothing day? Are you on holiday? Are you going on holiday? What are the plans? And we've got all that out the way within the first minute and a half of the stroll. So now it's free reign, free chat. So this time next Monday, God willing, the weed man's around the corner. I can smell him already. So we'll just get past him and then we'll carry on. Come on, Azra, lead on. Isn't it bad, guys, that I could tell you he was there before we got there? That's how much the stench goes up the road. It's awful. Come on, Azra, lead on. I'll trip over you in a minute. I just don't get it. Okay, just making sure the live was going as it should do. According to my phone it is, so that's all right. Thank you for the like. Welcome this morning. As I say, it's now beginning to get light pretty rapidly in the mornings. You might not look at it, but I can assure you it is. And it's just a shame we're going to have a bit of a reset on this. Well, this time next week it will be dark again, with the clocks changing next Sunday. So it is a nuisance, but it won't take long, guys. And we'll have the light again in the mornings without having to use the artificial lights and all that. I know I've been talking about it probably for the last few weeks, but it makes a big difference as to where we go and everything else in the morning. So it is a real bonus to have the natural light in the mornings, is all I'm going to say. So what did everybody else get up to the weekend? Was it a normal weekend for you? What are you whinging about? Come on. Morning. What did everybody else get up to the weekend? Did everyone have any plans? Did you carry out those plans? For me, it was Saturday we got James's hair done ready for our holiday next week. He did go quite short this time, which is what he wanted, so he was quite happy. Not a skinhead or anything like that, but shorter for him. They had their football match, made a real job of it against a team that were second from bottom, but they did win 3-1, which takes them back top of the league. Very, very tight running now. Every game is a must win, and if they do that, they'll win the league. There's lots of other permutations that could help them win the league as well. The team that have got games in hand on them that could theoretically beat them, we play them twice in a week. But they are playing, I think, 6 times in 3 weeks. They're playing Saturday, Wednesday, which I find horrendous. But hopefully they'll be knackered by the time we get to them. Because we're playing them right near the end of that phase, I think. Anyway, I think if you can't get yourself up for a top of the table clash, then there's something wrong. Anyway, that's a few weeks down the line. We've still got to play a couple of games before that. We need to make sure we're in a position where we are still have it in our own hands. No game over the next couple of weekends with it being Easter, although some of the teams actually have. I don't think the Easter weekend, I don't think that the league would be allowed to do that, because it being a religious weekend. I don't think they'd be allowed to do that, but I think next weekend there's definitely games for teams catching up, and that is sort of the beginning, if you like, of the holiday, certainly around here anyway. Of course we go away on the Sunday morning, so we would have been around. Boy, there was originally a game, but the team that we were playing called it off, said they couldn't field a squad. We had our team and squad ready, I think. In fact, I know we did. So we were all good. So yeah, and then once we got home from football, which was quite late, I think we got home about 2 o'clock in the end. We'd already phoned Mum and said, did she want to come round and have a look at the new table and chairs, which she said yes. So she came round with garden chairs. This is, guys, got a nice corner sofa with a nice table for out in the garden. So I unpacked all the cushions, got all that out, and Mum came round. I think she got to us in the end about 20 to 3, and we were only out there probably for about half hour, 40 minutes. It was a bit chilly, certainly for Mum anyway. Not so bad. I had a pair of shorts on, guys, but I did have a sort of a hoodie top. So yeah, pretty chilly. Sunday turned into a very expensive day, guys. We went to the cafe for breakfast, no problem. That's our usual routine. Took Mum home. She was going to watch my niece in a dance competition yesterday, so one of my brothers came to pick her up and took her for that, which she thoroughly enjoyed. I have spoken to her since. Azra, lead on. I have spoken to her since. But we ended up going to Stevenage. We went to the Range, Iceland, Jollies, and then Costco. So, in the Range, Julie found a light for the garden to go above the new sort of table and chairs. Azra, come on. She's really laggy this morning, guys. We've had more mornings like this than normal recently. Come on. Good girl. So we bought this solar light. It looked quite nice actually when it came on last night. We had good sun yesterday, which I'll come on to in a minute. Bought some pet food in Jolly's. Julie got some Slimming World stuff from Iceland. That is all we got in there. And then Costco. So I walked in and I was looking just generally at the electrical stuff. Nothing needed, just browsing. Julie said to me, I noticed the iPads are on special deal. Okay, Julia. Do you want one? Well, my one's not very good. Okay. Do you want one? Treat yourself. So she got a new iPad, 11-inch one. So I don't know if you can still get the 10.2 one anymore. That's the one she had. It was my old one, so it was quite old actually, guys. So she got the new iPad 11-inch. And then I must say we both sort of been moaning about this a little bit, but our Shark Hoover just isn't very good at all. Not so much very good from the point of view of day-to-day stuff, but when you've got animals, it just doesn't have enough power to get up all the stuff. So what did she do? I don't think she knew this when we went in there, let's put it like that. Or if she did, she hadn't told me. And maybe sometimes it's the best thing not to tell me, because I don't shake when I go in there. But there were Dyson Hoovers, and this particular Hoover came out top in its category for upright vacuum, and it was £200 cheaper. Go on. £200 cheaper in Costco than it was on the Dyson website. That's a big saving. So we bought that, and then we just bought some other bits and pieces in Costco, which you normally do, sort of stuff that you can buy in bulk. We've got some cornflakes and some other stuff. Anyway, so that, I'm not quite sure exactly how much that shop was, because we got some stuff for Mum as well, but I would imagine, guys, there was not much change, about 600-700 quid in the end, with the other stuff that we got as well. Alright, some of it was for Mum, 100 quid of it was for Mum, but it was an expensive shop in the end. We got home, we actually had the cushions out. I'd left the cushions out from the Saturday underneath the lovely cover that we got for the new table and chairs. So I took the cover off, got the cushions back up, because I just folded them down obviously. And then, come on Azra, lead on. Brought Julie's iPad outside with her old iPad. She came out with a cup of tea, I had a Coke. We set the iPad up. In that time, on my iPad, which is the big one, I don't know how big the big screen one is, but whatever it is what I've got. I was watching the Newcastle Sunderland game. I sat up there and watched most of that actually. In fact, well, I didn't see the beginning of it, but I saw it to the end. And then I think we had jobs to do inside, of which there are many, as there always is when you work during the week. There's always loads to do at the weekend. Sometimes you try and put it off, but there's always loads to do. Oh, I didn't tell you, on Saturday, both Julie and me did the majority of our packing. Because Julie's a busy girl every evening this week. I can't quite remember exactly what's happening some of the days. I think Monday and Wednesday it's football training. Can't remember tomorrow. Can't remember Thursday. And then she's going out with the girls on Friday night for a birthday party in Cambridge. Come on, Azra, lead on. Now, I couldn't care less what Julia does. She can please herself. But I was a little bit surprised with us having to go away so early, in the early hours of Sunday morning. But she said, it's boozy bingo. Whatever the hell boozy bingo is, I think we can all use our imagination. And I'm on pick-up duty. She said she's not going to be late. She said the boozy bingo finishes at 10 and she's going to be a good girl and she's going to come home after that. I reserve the right to say here and now, I don't think for one second that is exactly going to be how Friday night's going to go. Just saying, guys. I know what night outs are like. And people say, oh, come on, stay for another one. The only thing I will say is once I'm in Cambridge, there ain't many places to go. So it's going to be a bit of a nuisance to get in and out. So I might say to Julia, I'll leave at 10, give you a little bit of bonus time. And then we need to go home. Saturday, I don't know if I told you this. I've booked us a hotel on the Saturday night near to the airport. So we're now going to be staying right by Stansted. It's a waste of money, but I had a free voucher, so it's cost us about 20 quid, which 20 quid's 20 quid, but not the end of the world. Because we actually need to be at the airport at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning. And remember, guys, I will try and remind you during the week, the clocks spring forward an hour on Sunday morning at 1 a.m. So that is something to bear in mind here in the UK. If that does happen, if it does happen, it will happen. You need to just bear that in mind with your iPhone or phone, whatever phone you've got. If you've got it set up, should automatically change. Should. I'm always a little bit with it, won't it? So I just need to keep an eye on that. I don't suppose for 1 second we'll get much sleep on Saturday night. I suspect the early part of it, if we sort of say go to bed about 9:30, 10, try and get a couple of hours maybe. But I reckon from midnight, just going to be awake, just sort of doing stuff. James can sleep for a little bit longer, but we'll sort of, it's just always one of them, isn't it? You always get a little bit apprehensive before you fly and all that sort of stuff. I do anyway. 5 months I'm on there, and you hear this a lot about people, don't you? I think it's just the whole build-up is going away. It is very stressful. Just get Azra on the side to lead. We've got a car coming, and it's almost like, guys, whilst we've been walking around, it's just been getting steadily lighter, which is great. As I say, we'll have a reset next week. Of course, we won't be doing the lives next week, not from here anyway. I'll be doing as much as I can do, a live every morning from Mallorca. So join me for that, because hopefully we're going to get some lovely scenery and some views. I've no idea what time I'm going to be doing it. I guess it depends on sort of what time I wake up and everything else, because of course the clocks. I was watching a lady live from where we're going yesterday, and she was saying it'll be getting dark now at 8 o'clock there. Look forward to some lovely sunsets, which I'll share with you. And we've got a sea view. Go on, Azra. We've got a sea view room as well. with a balcony. So hopefully we'll be able to enjoy those, do some lives of the sunset. I did request at quite a popular restaurant if we could book a table for James's birthday, which is on the 31st, which I think is the Wednesday, or is it the Tuesday? I don't know. Let's have a look. Get my other phone out. No, it's a Tuesday. So yeah, but I emailed one of the popular restaurants because it says it's quite popular and it looked really busy yesterday. So admittedly the sun was out and it looked like a glorious day there yesterday. So I emailed them, haven't heard anything back. Now that's typical. Bar, restaurant, lapsy-daisyness. So my plan will be to maybe on the Sunday, once we arrive, obviously sort ourselves out, we'll go for a walk, walk around, have a look around, see what's what, and da-da-da-da-da. And then on the Monday we can chillax. That is a nice relaxing day. The Tuesday is James's birthday, and the market is actually there on a Tuesday. So we'll go and have a look at that. I'm not sure how much there is going to be there, but we'll see. Wednesday, the plan is to go into Palma for the day on the bus or an Uber, whatever. And then the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which are looking like at the minute the best days we're there. Again, it can change. We can just relax. It is not going to be boiling hot sunbathing weather, but if it's sort of 18 to 20, you can definitely sit out in it, have some drinks and catch a bit of sun. And that's why I say I don't know quite how much vlogging I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try and be doing it live every morning, so there will be something going on every morning. As to how much else in the way of vlogs, I think it sort of depends, because you don't want it to become the same all the time. So we've got a couple of things. I mean, it could well be that we just turn it into sort of a travel day, a coming home day, and sort of other things we do. I don't know. I need to sort of see exactly how much we're going to be doing when we're there and what have you. And I think sort of beach holidays are always a bit like this, unless you sort of get out and purposely do stuff. But it sort of defeats the purpose of wanting to relax, really. If you're sort of having to stress yourself out getting on a bus and going somewhere. Of course, we've been to Mallorca before. If you watch Cruise from last year, you'll see the day we had Mallorca. We went to Solar Village and got the wooden train back to Palma. So we have done it before, and this is why I sort of don't really know how it's going to pan out. Maybe every day I'll just go out for a walk with the camera and we'll see what we can see. Stuff like that. I don't know. Anyway. Thanks for that. Yeah, she keeps me busy all right, don't you worry about that. It's been a quiet morning for viewers this morning. Again, I know I've said it before, and I'll say that again, and I'll say it many times again. It doesn't worry me in the slightest. I'm out anyway. And believe you me, I need every bit of exercise, as does this one. Although this weekend I actually think I've been pretty good, sort of treat-wise. I don't think I overdone it at all. Last week was a bit heavy actually. And it felt like a heavy one, especially Friday. God blimey. Treats. Not all of my own doing, guys, but it's rude not to accept gifts when they come your way. But this week's going to be a lot more moderated, let's put it like that. Because next week, with an all-inclusive scenario, could be carnage, couldn't it, really? Just because you've got all-inclusive doesn't mean you have to eat loads, guys. Just remember that. You can drink a bit, but even that, we're not heavy drinkers. So yeah, we might have a few beers, but I reckon it'll be maybe 1 or 2 beers during the day and then soft drinks. And then maybe a few in the evening. Strawberry daiquiris. Anyone like strawberry daiquiris? It's quite nice as well, guys, in a way that we're quite close to sort of the town centre. So I've obviously mentioned it's James's birthday when we're there, but I have said to Julie we will go out a couple of times just so we can sort of break up the monotony a bit. And I know people say, oh, well, you're all inclusive, what a waste, all that sort of stuff. You don't waste it. We'll still have breakfast there, we'll still have lunch there, we'll still have our drinks during the day. That was a noisy dog, wasn't it, Azra? That was a noisy dog. So yeah, you never lose out with all-inclusive, or we never do anyway. And when we went to Egypt, which was the last, forget the cruise, when we went to Egypt the last time when we had all-inclusive, that was a bit different because it wasn't safe to go out. There wasn't anything around to go out. So the hotel was a lovely hotel. Come on, Azra. But it was in its own complex. So you couldn't really go out. And if you did, you had to get a taxi. And it's just a ball ache. So that was slightly different. But I think here, having watched many vlogs, and obviously this live yesterday, which was really, really great, having a live the week before we go there, and seeing the hotel, she showed the hotel. The hotel is fully open and they've cleaned all the pools. So you can see it's fully open and functional. That is just so pleasing. So yeah, that's all positive. What we got here? Have I missed something? Azra is a Labrador cross beagle, so Labrador size and beagle colours. She's actually a rescue dog. I love it when people ask because I can tell the story again. She's actually a rescue dog. She was found in a box at the side of a road, a dual carriageway. Hence, obviously you wouldn't necessarily have heard it before because you knew it, but I have to get onto a tight lead every time a car or anything bigger goes past because she's still, even after 4.5 years, really frightened of cars, which you can understand with her, obviously, background. She loves going in the car, but she hates cars whizzing past her. And obviously she gets that from her background, so a shame. Thank you for that. Yeah, it is really, really important that people sometimes they do want sort of puppies from almost from the womb and all that sort of thing, but there are lots of dogs out there that need homes as well. And I've actually got another rescue dog at home called Ralph. He is a Chihuahua, but he is an old chap. He's 11 years old and he wouldn't get on very well with these long strolls. I'd end up picking him up. He did come and meet us yesterday. If you're interested, I think it's Lottie, isn't it? Yeah. If you're interested, Lottie, watch the live from yesterday morning on the channel, and it's probably watch from about 10 to 15 minutes before the end, and you'll see the lovely Julia, my better half, and Ralph meet us, and then they join us for the last sort of bit of the stroll. But yeah, he is an old boy, and as such, he wouldn't cope very well. So yeah, that's Azra's little story. She's got the personality of both a beagle and a Labrador, and by that I mean great. I would quite happily, as long as there wasn't food about or another dog about, leave her in a room with kids of all ages and she'd be absolutely fine. Food is a bit more of she's very protective of her food, and other dogs, if she knows them, she's all right, but if she doesn't know them, she gets a little bit crazy, and then she settles down. She's not crazy in a vicious way, she's crazy in a wild I want to play way, but you can be a bit overzealous at times. Just look how light it is now, guys. I could actually turn these torches off. In fact, I'm going to turn my side ones off. I'll leave the head torch and Azra's one on just to help with a little bit of light, but there really isn't any need for it anymore. It's just fantastic in the mornings now that we've got this light. But yeah, thank you for the sub, I do appreciate it. Every single sub helps. As I say, it's going to be a bit different next week with the lives. We'll be in, hopefully, sunny Mallorca. So Azra and Ralph, they go to a dog sitter. They don't go to a kennel, they go to a dog sitter. And they actually live in this lady's house. And they love going there. You know how it is when you drop off a child at nursery sometimes, and they love going there and they don't even turn around when they go in. You're out of sight, out of mind as soon as they walk in. Well, that's what they're like when they go there. We're lucky if they turn around when they go in. They love going there. It's great. It puts your mind at ease. But that's how it is. That's the only way I can describe it to you. If you're ever in that position, that's how she is. Yeah, all those three with your dog is exactly the same as her. That's exactly the best analogy I can give. So yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one with a mentalist. We did see a dog earlier on in the stroll, and she was a bit whingy and whiny. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, this time of the day we're very, very... Go on, Azra, lead on. Good girl. At this time of the day we're usually very lucky. We don't really see that many people at all, which is great. She can have the length of her lead. The only time I have to bring it in, as I said, is cars. Another thing I look forward to once the weather starts warming up a little bit as well is being able to have my breakfast. Car coming, so we're going to have to tighten this lead right up, as I've said to you. It is right on her side as well. Good girl. Go on. I'm looking forward to being able to sit out in the garden and have my cereals, and I love all that. Listening to the birds singing around you. We're very lucky living in a village like we do. No, absolutely not. You wouldn't change a thing, no. I've had a dog, not me personally, but at mum and dad's family home, many years ago. And she was the most reserved dog that you'll ever come across. And it was quite difficult actually getting her to go out and socialising, and you just couldn't trust what she was going to do. It's a real shame. She'd come from the Scottish Highlands, and I think she was just so afraid of everything, coming from not seeing other people and cars for the beginning of her life. unfortunately she was pretty poorly quite early on in her life, and she had to be put to sleep, unfortunately. But it was hard work, it really was. So far I'd rather have a dog like her all day long and have to tighten the lead up when you come across other dogs and stuff like that than the other where you just couldn't read. And that's the thing with Azra, you can have a play fight in the lounge and you can read exactly what's going through her mind a second before it happens, whereas there are some dogs you just couldn't trust. And that's the thing. And we've got a 15-year-old son as well, by the way, guys. And obviously when we got Azra, he would have been just starting senior school. So, you know, young children in the house, all that sort of stuff. All this has to be taken into consideration when you get animals. It's so important. Trust is key, especially with an animal, because they can't talk. So it's all about reading them. And I'm sure they're far more intelligent than we give them credit for as well, by the way. Anyway, so we are getting into the last sort of 5-10 minutes of the stroll this morning. Been lovely having a chat with a new subscriber. There's been people sort of dipping in and out. I've had a couple of people that have been on the whole way around, so that's been nice. It always makes it go a lot quicker when you are talking to people with similar interests, maybe no interests at all the same, but we try and talk about everything. Nothing is off the table as long as we keep it clean. Don't really do political because it's quite depressing, politicalness and everything, to be fair, and not much you can do about it, is there? So you just got to get on with it. But anything else we try and talk about and chat. So we're quite an open forum actually on this channel, especially when we do the lives. Obviously when we do the vlogging, that's a little bit different because obviously I've not got the interaction with you at the time. Yes, you get comments when the vlog comes out and stuff like that, which is lovely. A lot of the vlogs, I say a lot so far, they've been pre-planned to a degree. Obviously there's a lot of spontaneousness when you're doing it, but the days you're doing stuff, they are planned. And the big sort of two travel series, so I've only been doing this for just over a year, by the way, guys, just so you know. Only just over a year. Just want to read this comment. £100%, you know, the joy that it brings you with your animals is 100% spot on, and that's why you don't like talking about these things, but that's why it's so hard letting go, you know, when they get to an old age or whatever. You know, it is a very powerful thing. They are part of your family. It's like another child, and it is very, very hard, and I have been through it, unfortunately, probably 4 or 5 times in my life, and it doesn't get any easier, I can assure you. So yeah, make the most of every minute with your furry friend or any animal you've got that can give you some interaction, because that is key. I've lost my trail of thought now as to what I was saying. Oh yeah, the vlogs. So yeah, I've only been doing it just over a year, and the two sort of big travel trips we did was the cruise last year, and also went to Disneyland late last year as well. And come on, Azra, lead on. Yeah, so this is my third one when we go away next week. I'm getting more and more confident with people around and stuff like that, because that's a big thing, having that confidence to be talking to the camera when you've got people around. But no, it's all right. Don't mind now. If I can do lives every day, I'm sure I can do that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're getting to the end now of this stroll. So we'll reconvene, put my teeth in tomorrow. Be out about the same time, give or take. We'll catch up then. Have a lovely day. Thanks for the chat this morning with Lottie. I really appreciated that. It's been a lovely chat. Great to hear about your dog as well. Thank you for subscribing. And we will reconvene with everyone tomorrow. Ashley, are you going to say goodbye? Good girl. Yeah. Right. Cheers, guys. Have a lovely day.